Just back from a 40-minute swim and still on track to do the race in Benissa in Spain on the 3rd of October, the Survivor race. Haven't done any running the past number of days because of the pulled muscle in my calf, and it's still, just even to touch it, it's still a little bit sore, so I'm going to wait till it's completely pain-free before I attempt to run on it again. But I've got plenty of other things I can do anyway. Like I said, just back from a 40-minute swim in the sea, which is pretty tough going. I swam down the coast. When I turned around to come back, I realized that I'm going against the wind, going against the current, and so going back was a bit rougher. It took a bit more out of me. I'm feeling really good that I did it, and just getting the lung capacity expanded. But what I wanted to tell you about was the fittest that I've ever been in my life, and maybe you can get something from that. I was at one time incredibly fit when I was younger, when I was 18, 19, and many of you know I was in the Royal Marines Commandos for 5 years. It's the toughest and longest infantry training in the world that the British Commandos do. And halfway through training I broke my leg as a result of a stress fracture from running with weights on. My leg just went click, cracked at the top of the tibia, and swelled up to the point where I just couldn't even touch my heel on the ground. It would send a shooting pain up through my leg. I didn't need to get a cast on because it was a hairline fracture. The bone didn't actually come away or anything, so I didn't need a cast. But nonetheless, the pain was excruciating, absolutely excruciating. My whole leg swelled up. So anyway, so what happens in the Royal Marines training when you injure yourself is you get put into a troop called Hunter Troop. And Hunter Troop is full of people who are either injured or are professional failures, people who have failed tests or criteria tests and have been back trooped. So they go into Hunter Troop and get up to speed on something, and then they go back into another troop somewhere down the line, right? And so I was in Hunter Troop because of an injury. So in Hunter Troop, what they do is they get you prepared to be inserted into another troop again once you're all healed up or whatever, right? Once you're up to speed again. And so I went in, I'm on my crutches, and straight away it's like, well, you've got 2 hours physical training every single morning, well, 6 days a week, nearly enough every single morning. 6 days a week, you have 2 hours of physical training each morning. And I'm thinking, I'm on crutches here, I've got a broken leg. And it's like, doesn't matter. Get your PT kit on, get your swimming gear, get out there across the gym. So it's quite funny on troop, everyone's on crutches, not everyone, but people on crutches all going along in a troop, and because you get so many stress fractures, so many broken foot, so many knee injuries, etc. from the rigorous training. So many people are simply just on crutches. That's most of the injuries. So anyway, so go across, struggle across, get your swimming gear on, and into the pool. And so the first thing you do is an hour in the pool each morning. And it's not an hour just like swimming around. No, it's an hour where there's a PTI, physical training instructor, standing at the side of the pool, shouting his head off at you for an hour to do different things in the pool. So at first I couldn't use my leg. So I'm in the pool, so all I can use is my arms. So the first hour I'm just swimming lengths with my arms. Once the leg starts to get a bit better, then you're doing different things. And it's not just regular swimming, it's like swim the whole length just with one arm front crawl. Back the other arm, next arms behind your back, things like that. Then you also do circuits in the pool where you swim one width, jump out, do whatever, 30 squats, dive back in, the other side, do 30 press-ups, dive back in. It's stuff like that for like an hour, right? So depending on the level of injury is what you can do. Another thing, you put a jacket on and you run in the pool, where you're in the water just running, sprinting as fast as you can for a minute, then jog, etc, etc. So by the time you got out of the pool, I would just be drenched in sweat. I'd go into the changing room, I'd dry myself off and go to get my clothes on, my PT gear on, and the sweat would just be pouring off me. It's like I couldn't get dry. That's how much I'd be sweating from the thrashing in the pool. So as soon as you get out of the pool, dry, PT gear on, then you're up in the gym, and then it's another hour in the gym. And sometimes you're left to your own devices where you can just go around and do whatever you want. It's a really well equipped gym, or there's circuits to be done as well up there. And so with a broken leg, I just go on my crutches, I do rope climbs, I get on the ergometer, the ergo rowing machine, And that's one thing that got me really fit, was the ergo rowing machine. I really tested myself on that, especially when after a few weeks my legs started to, the swelling went down, the pain went away, and I get on the rowing machine, and by the end of the 5 months in Hunter Troop, which I spent 5 months before I got reinserted into another troop, I got my time down to 7 minutes and 3 seconds for 2,000 meters on the ergo rowing machine. So if you know anything about that, that's pretty fast, especially for someone of my height of 5'10". That's pretty fast. Generally the rowers are well over 6 foot because they have a really big sort of reach. So for someone of 5'10", 7:03 is a very fast time. So that's how fit I got, just at the stuff in the gym. I'd just do pull-ups all day, rope climbs, things like that, you know. I always pushed myself, even if there was no one else there to push me. I always pushed myself because I was just a very determined kid, you know. So then, coming to the after I think 3 months, it was 3 months. Then I started to do sort of light jogs and things. 3.5 months, and then I was running. After 3.5 months, I was back running again. We used to do like a cliff run every Friday morning, and I found myself really fit. Where I was coming like first, second, third in the cliff runs, even beating the PTIs, the physical training instructors. And then we'd do the bottom field. We'd go down and get battle fitness, where we'd be putting the weights on again, climbing over things, crawling under things, climbing ropes, etc., etc. To the point where after 5 months of these 2 hours every morning, and we also got lots of rest time, because the thing is, in a regular troop, you don't get to rest. They break you down, break you down, break you down, you know. You get trashed, you don't get time to recuperate. So at the end of training, generally, your body's completely trashed, you know. And that's what they want to see. Can you do the commando tests? Not when you're just really fit, but when you're completely trashed, right? And so I went back into the troop, super fit, where I had a feeling of almost invincibility. Any criteria test we did was just a breeze for me. Absolute breeze, no problem at all. I got records in the assault course, like by miles. Like I was like way ahead of everybody else. I felt like I could never get out of breath. It just felt like I could just sprint and sprint and sprint. It's like, I'm just not getting out of breath here. And so I felt had this like invincibility. And that's the fittest I've ever been in my life. And I kept that level of fitness up for quite a while. I was on target to break more records in the Tarzan assault course at the very end of training. But then I got the flu. We do the 7-day exercise before the end of training. I got completely wiped on that 7-day exercise, and I got pretty bad flu. So when it came to doing the Tarzan assault course, where everybody thought I was going to get the record in it again, I did it with the flu, and still came ahead of most people. But I was completely, at the end of it, I was just seeing black dots in front of my eyes, and I was actually taken away in an ambulance after that, because my whole I used all my energy just to get around it, and then everything just went through the floor, you know. So yeah, so that was my experience. But I kept that level of fitness up for quite a while, quite a high level of fitness, until I got malaria a couple of years later, and then that completely like turned my body inside out, and my level of fitness never got back to where it was. But for a couple of years, my fitness was, I don't know, it was incredible, absolutely incredible. I'd like to get that back, you know. So I'm starting to feel it now, feeling that really good feeling of getting really fit. And so that's what I'm heading for. Maybe you'd like to do the same. Maybe I can inspire you to also get super fit.